Welcome to New Life's Adventures in Discipleship. We really do want to give you aid in all of your discipleship. You're following of Jesus. That's what discipleship is. And so as you follow him, there's lots of aspects of your life that we're going to look at together. Prayer and giving, and worship and study. And the 7 big marks of being a disciple of Jesus. We're looking at 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 1 through 9. And this is for your aid in your discipleship, adventures in discipleship. When you think about being a disciple of Jesus, how do you picture Jesus in your mind? What's he look like? You're following him, you're on the path together, and you're walking as Jesus looks back at you as you are following him. That's what disciple means, following. So as he looks back at you following him, how does he see you? If you picture Jesus looking back at you, of all of his disciples together, do you also picture him seeing you as cheerful? We're going to learn in this passage about giving that God really loves a cheerful giver. So let's go into chapter 9 of 2 Corinthians. I'm going to focus very much on 7, 8, and 9. But this is all to get to the point of how does a person give and give cheerfully? You'll see that given to you so clearly. There's something happening in your heart that this cheerful giving is a pre-commitment on your part in the heart. That's that word of purpose or commitment or decided in verse 7. How do you get that in your heart, this cheerful giving? He tells a couple good points. Look carefully in the verse 6, and you'll see it put to you. So as you read through it, I just would like to give you this point to ponder in verse 6. I'll apply it to myself, you apply it to yourself. Do I really understand and do I really trust in God's economy? Do I really trust that this is the truth, that you cannot reap what you do not sow? Think about that in terms of giving. If I were a farmer and I were not trusting that you have to sow the seed in order to have a harvest come fall, if I didn't believe that, I would be so grudging with every single seed planted in the soil. But if I trust that, if I believe that, if I think that's the way it works, why then you'll be generous. The more you plant in the soil, the more you'll harvest come the fall. It's such a clear truth given to you in verse 6. So ask yourself, truly, do you believe this about giving? Another point you might want to ponder is verse 8. Do you trust God's supply? I think about that for myself. Do I trust that what I need, God himself is well able to supply? It takes away my fear when I do. And I discover when I don't trust that, it is precisely all kinds of fears that come into my life. When Jesus looks back at you, his disciple, you followers of his, is he going to see it cheerful givers or fearful hoarders? Another point to ponder, verse 8. We do see so clearly there in the Bible about the cheerful giver, don't you? You can't escape it. And you know this is the truth of the Bible as you measure it against other texts that Jesus says in Acts chapter 20. It's more blessed to give than to receive. So the question I want to put, just a challenge on this, to ponder as you challenge yourself in discipleship. Am I a cheerful getter or am I a cheerful giver? You can picture so clearly in your mind, can't you, being a cheerful getter? But that's not what the Bible says as you measure out in the full witness, but rather a cheerful giver is what's promised. That God both loves and that the blessing is in the giving, not the receiving. Well, to close, this has been an aid for you in your discipleship and giving. I hope you've heard very clearly that Jesus desires you to follow him with a cheerful heart. His desire is to bless you, you know. For he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive.